Welcome to the Krista Escamilla Show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the Krista Escamilla Show. As always, I am grateful for your time. I know it is precious, so thank you for choosing to be with us today. I am so excited to introduce you to today's guest, but first, we want to thank our sponsors because, as you know, without them, we wouldn't have a show. So a huge thank you to Rig ID Workwear, Omni Midland Hotel, also to Thin FR, Midland Cap Company, the Laughlin Hotel, the Preserve at Midland, and joincapclub.com. Thank you so much. Support those local businesses however you can, or just support local wherever you are, because as you know, when you support local, you're supporting someone's dream. And that's what we're all about here at the Krista Escamilla Show, supporting dreams and helping each other live their best life. So joining us today, I'm so excited to introduce you to JD Leach. He is first and foremost a husband and father of 3. He is also an author, an actor, and an oil field guy. Thank you so much, JD, for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you on the show. You know, there's a lot of different avenues how I get guests on the show. Sometimes I run into someone at the grocery store. Sometimes someone will, send me a text. But for yours, I got an interesting email saying, this is the most interesting guy you'll ever meet. You need to have him on the show. So I appreciate you saying yes and being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't say most interesting. I'd say the guest lineup you've had in the past is pretty incredible. So I don't know how you can beat Rooster McGonagle.
Well, thank you. That Rooster was pretty fun. That was a fun one. But I can't wait to, I know yours will be too, and I can't wait to hear your story. How did you get to West Texas?
So originally got to West Texas back when I was young. So moved here with my dad. He was with ExxonMobil at the time, and he got a transfer from Wyoming. And so I was in 8th grade when we moved to Andrews. And that's kind of where it got started in West Texas. Of course, I bounced around, and the book explains some of that we can get into. But I came back full-time in 2003 and never left. So
been here ever since.
Yeah, well, in Texas, of course, but my roots are right here in West Texas for sure.
I love that. You said the book, and so we want to mention, we said that you're an author. The name of your book is Behind Closed Eyes, The Echoes from the Texas Juvenile Prison.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this and how it came to be.
Well, so originally I wrote this book about 15 years ago, and my mom had kind of inspired me to write this, and I'd wrote it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put it out. My past was something that I kind of kept close to my chest. I didn't let everybody know. There was a few people that did from back then that had kind of known what I'd gone through, family and friends, but for the professional world, my career, nobody knew anything about me, and I tried to hide that as much as possible. But she inspired me to kind of write it. She said, your story is something that could probably help somebody, and it's doing the world an injustice by keeping it a secret. And so she passed away about 3 years ago from cancer, and so I finally, got to that point where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'll publish it. I didn't think that it was going to get any traction whatsoever. Thought maybe some friends and family. I'd sell 5 on Amazon. That was about it. But once I put it out there, it just kind of exploded. It hit number 2 on Amazon's bestseller. It's been picked up by another publisher, and Fort Worth Star Tribune picked it up, and then the Odessa American and a few others. So it's gained a lot of traction, and I didn't know how to feel about that at first, right? So because
it's such a personal story.
It is a personal, and now it's out there for everybody to see, and so I have to kind of accept it for what it is, and if it helps somebody, then it helps. But what the story is about is the journey through my teenage years where I was, wasn't a bad kid. I didn't do anything to hurt anybody. I just made dumb mistakes. And for that reason, I ended up in the Texas juvenile system for about 4 years and bounced around. And the book goes into detail about those experiences and then, really what I did after that too. So there's kind of an inspiration behind it, a learning curve where you don't have to base your future off of your past experiences, and anybody can overcome, certain obstacles and adversity and make something of themselves. And so I hope to use, what I'm doing now as kind of a tell-all for people that are in that situation or have experienced it, that, you can always move forward and make a life out of yourself, for yourself.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you for sharing that today with us and with all of our viewers and listeners. And I think that's so important, that there is a beauty to telling your story, because
Sure.
it's almost like you feel like, hey, if this helps one person, right? And
Right.
I'm sure you've helped many, but since it's gone to the top of the list.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
there's also that part about we all make mistakes. And,
Right.
you know, we say it all the time as we're parents of 4 kids. And
Sure.
it's like, you have to make mistakes. That's how you learn from them.
Right.
If you didn't, you wouldn't become the person that God wants you
Exactly.
to be.
Absolutely.
And so what would you say is the biggest thing that you learned through that time in your life that you would hope that people who read your book, that they learn?
Really, there was a lot of different things that I've learned, and you know, when I was a teenager in the system, right, and it teaches you different things that most kids that are in normal high school wouldn't learn in a, you know, system like that, right, and you know, a lot of that's understanding how to read people, how to, you know, there's a lot of different things that I learned out of that, but what I learned the most is that the decisions that you make, of course, they can affect you at that time, but you don't have to let that define who you are, right? And so it took a lot to get to that point. I had to adapt to a lot of different environments as an adult. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to let your past define you, basically, is kind of what I took from it. And most people that you meet that know me would have no idea that I went through this, because I'm not that same person. I'm
Right.
not that guy.
Because you didn't let the past define
Right.
you.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
that.
So-
Well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. And that is probably something that has carried over into every aspect of your life, your
Sure.
experiences, your growth, and who you are today.
Right.
Because now, not only are you an author, you are,
Yeah.
besides oilfield, right?
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
talk oilfield in a minute.
Sure.
But you're also an actor. What's
Yeah.
that all about? How did you go from author, oilfield to actor?
Yeah, it's by pure luck, really, being at the right place, right time.
Okay.
It wasn't a passion of mine. I never in a million years thought that I would ever be on TV. It just kind of came by accident, where a buddy of mine had went to this kind of model and talent scout, and he wanted me to go with him to this group. And I ended up meeting a few people that were interested in me, and so I remember going to this like audition, like a live audition with an agency out of Salt Lake, and they wanted me to perform in front of some casting directors when I was young. And I remember doing this monologue after several weeks of studying it and having to learn it, and I remember being told, "Hey, you were amazing at that. You know, that was incredible. I've never seen a performance like that." And that was the first time in my life I'd ever been told that I was really good at something. So it kind of struck a fire in me, and I put it down. I didn't think this was anywhere I was going to go with it. Yeah, I went to work, started raising a family, worked oil and gas for more than 20 years, and I was getting my kids involved in a live theater production. My daughter was really interested in doing it, and the group had asked me to stand in, and I did. And then they ended up producing a movie called The Crimson, which is the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And so we did The Crimson, and I played the Roman soldier that crucified Jesus. And that was kind of my real, true beginning into Christianity and what it really meant and what Jesus really went through, and that historical piece of that I didn't really know. I mean, you all hear about, you know, the crucifixion of Jesus, but I didn't know the story behind it. I didn't know the details.
Until you played the part.
Until I played the part, yeah. And so I kind of, you know, researched it a little bit, and I fell in love with this cast. Yeah. And so each year we put on a live immersion. It's at Capernaum Studios up in Poolville, and so every year for Easter we were doing The Crimson, and so I replay that role.
That's awesome.
And it's a 4-day deal, and that's how I got back into the film side of it. I ended up getting an agent out of Dallas, and right out of the bag I booked an Apple commercial, and then I was on the Lioness with Zoe Saldana and Nicole Kidman.
Love that show.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? He's on the Lioness.
Yeah.
Sorry. My husband's over there eating lunch. I was like, did you? We love that show. We like binge watched it for I don't know how many days.
Yeah.
So what'd you play in it?
So I played a CIA government pilot.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I'm in season 2. I'm in episode 5, and so I'm talking to Zoe about
season 2 episode. Sorry, I'm trying to get my bearings. Where were you guys at?
Yeah,
on this?
we're on the tarmac.
Okay.
And her crew gets off. She stays on the plane.
Yes.
She takes a call from Nicole Kidman, and we take off.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was you.
So,
she was talking to.
She was
Zoe
talking to me
was?
on the plane. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
I was the pilot. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Very
that
cool.
was a really interesting experience. One, I was nervous because I'm in front of two A-list actors. you
Yeah,
know,
I mean Zoe and
Zoe
Nicole.
and Nicole. So yeah, it was,
I don't even know how to get a word out.
that was the very first real, opportunity for me. That was a SAG credit, and I'd never in a million years dreamed of ever having anything like that. So getting to hang out with Zoe and Nicole for a couple days was great. The whole cast crew, Taylor Sheridan was there, so hung out with him for a little bit. And then we did Stan the Man, which filmed here in Midland. It was a football movie out in Greenwood.
Yes.
And that was a Christian movie based off a coach who struggled with alcoholism, lost his job as a main coach, and then had a redemption with high school. And so that came out on it's on all streaming platforms now.
Okay.
That just came out in 2025. So.
Okay, we'll have to. We have not
Yeah.
seen that one, so we'll have to look at Stan
Yeah,
the
it's-
Man. Put it on your list.
Yeah.
It's going to be when this airs. It'll be after the freeze of 2026 that we're about to
Right.
have this
Yeah.
weekend. But
Yeah.
so whenever you do watch this, listen and watch
Sure.
Stan the Man. Love
Yeah, it's
that.
got Angus Benefield in it.
Okay.
He's awesome. He's done a lot of stuff. Matt Socia from Breaking Bad, and
Yeah, yeah.
Better Call Saul or something. Yeah, so some really great actors, actresses in that, and I had a pretty decent role on that. And then we got another project coming up that we're supposed to be filming next week, and it's called The Pursuit. And now this has Janine Turner, who was in Still Magnolia. Mm-hmm. She was the main actress in The Cliffhanger, Northern Exposure. And then the producer is Michael Flaherty, who he did all the Chronicles of Narnia,
Yes.
Bridge to Terabithia, Holes, and all that with
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf. So
I remember the name Michael Flaherty. Yeah.
yeah, so he's a big time, and I
That's
ended up
exciting.
yeah.
Are you so excited?
I am. I'm very excited about it. Yeah. So I ended up booking the role as Thomas Paine, who was an American Revolutionary guy, and this takes place back in 1776. So it'll be my first, old piece like that. So.
Very cool.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
That's exciting, especially since you had no formal training with
None.
acting.
None.
And so
Yeah.
how, when you were going in for the role, what do you
Yeah.
say? Do you say, okay, just be myself? What do I, jump into this character, because
Yeah.
that, for anyone who has studied acting,
Sure.
is probably like, how is this guy,
Yeah.
that's
I know,
amazing.
yeah.
That's so cool.
I guess that's a great question. I have no training whatsoever. Maybe a couple acting classes here and there, but it's no formal training whatsoever. I never took theater. I wasn't involved in any of that at all in my
Right.
life.
You were
Wouldn't
oil field for
I was
20
so far
years.
away from it. Yeah. I think most characters, they all have a piece of themselves in that character, right? And
Right.
so the roles that I get booked for, I think I don't really try to put myself in that character. I just play myself as if I were that person.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I don't, and maybe that's not the right way to do it, but it's been working for me.
Hey,
so,
it's working. You're getting booked.
I'm getting booked.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah,
keep
so-
doing what you're doing.
So that works. I'm excited to kind of see where that goes. It's more of like a hobby, something that's fun that I enjoy doing. It's something that I never expected in my life to, travel down that road. And, I'm not going to hit the brakes either. So just whatever comes and falls in my lap, then, I've been pretty fortunate to have what I've got so far.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
very,
thank
very
you.
cool. We'll talk more, and we're going to talk oil field in a second. Want to know
Sure.
what you're doing there. But first we do something called Quote of the Day. So let me mix these up a little bit.
Sure.
And basically you're just pulling one out. You see what the quote means to
Okay.
you.
All right.
We're sitting here today with JD Leach in Midland, Texas. He is a husband, dad, author, actor, oil field. And according to his friend Randall Maxwell, the most interesting guy you'll meet. So,
Yeah.
so what did your quote say?
So I guess front of the card first.
Yep.
Is creative.
Very
which
cool,
is-
because he's a creative.
falls right in
That
line.
is, fall right into it.
Ability is what you're capable of doing. Motivation determines what you do. Attitude determines how well you do it.
What does that mean to you?
I think, man, that's a lot packed in one right there. So, the ability is what you're capable of. I think, ability is something that you're kind of gifted with, talent, something that you really enjoy. Motivation determines how far you really want to pursue that. And then attitude is probably the biggest of it all, really, because that determines, it says how well you do it, right? And I think going into anything with the right attitude, even if you don't have the talent for it, but the right attitude and the willingness to learn, you're going to get somewhere with that. And, whether that's learning something different or being successful at what you're trying to do, your attitude drives everything.
Absolutely. Love that. Do you have a favorite quote that you live by? Something that has really gotten you through the hard times and the good times?
Not one in specific, but I'm a sucker for quotes and motivation. I watch all of them on YouTube and
I got books full of them right there.
So it's hard to narrow down on just one because there's so many of them, and it's just I love the daily inspiration stuff. Mm-hmm. I think having a reminder of that just kind of gives you a second breath. It's like, okay, I can do this, and I can keep going. And I think, as long as you have if you know what it is that you want to do in life, and you're passionate about that, I don't think anything can really stop you. And I think the inspiration and the quotes and all that, I think it just gives you that second breath to keep moving, even in the hard times, right? And even in the good times.
Absolutely. I share one every morning on my social media because you never know when a quote's going to hit you the right way, right?
Exactly.
And so I love nothing more than when someone will just respond back and go, I really needed to hear that today, or because I feel like, and I'm not the first to say that, I think it's Zig Ziglar said, motivation is like bathing. You need to do it daily. So bathe and get your motivation daily. Right. But it's so true because you never know when a quote's going to hit you the right way. But we all need a little motivation. You know, I don't care who you are. Right. You're going to have those up days, those down days, or those in between days. Sure. A little motivation goes a long way.
Yeah. What is your favorite?
Oh, gosh, I have so many. So my motto is dream big, believe, never give up.
Right.
That's the motto I live by because at certain times in my life, I didn't do those things. And I realized when I did, the outcome was so much better. Right. But I mean, we could talk quotes all day long. I got about a million favorites. I do. I just love them. But I love that you recognize that too, that you need to have it daily.
Absolutely.
Let's talk. You said you've been in oil field. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that. We have a lot of people that are here in West Texas, but we also have listeners all over the world. Right. What would you say about your time in the oil field of West Texas?
So my oil field career is, again, it's been a lot like my acting career. So I've been very fortunate and very blessed. And I think that's just, attitude, right? Goes a long ways. And so when I got into the oil field back when I was 18, I was going to college in Wyoming too. I was passionate about it because I had grown up in it. My dad's, with ExxonMobil, so I remember as a kid riding around checking wells with him, going to their Christmas parties for ExxonMobil, and I've always been immersed into it. My grandfather, all of them, and so whenever I started in the oil and gas, I was kind of working as a roustabout, and I remember seeing Halliburton come walking into the restaurant. And this is back in 1998. And I just remember the pride that they had and the way that they carried themselves and the Halliburton coveralls. And I remember a friend of mine said, man, that's a really dangerous job. That's fracking. You're gone all the time. It's a lot of money, but it's very scary and dangerous and hard work. And I wanted a piece of it right then and there. And I said, oh, that's where I'm going to go. So I went to work for Halliburton, and I noticed right off the bat that those guys, they did have a lot of pride. They really enjoyed what they did. And, Halliburton was kind of a family unit back then. Each crew had their, they protected themselves. And the crew that I ended up with were much older than I was. They were 30s, 40s, some were even in their 50s. They had been doing this their whole life. They didn't want to change. A guy was on the blender. He wanted to stay a blender tender forever. He didn't want to change.
What he did.
He loved what he did. Yeah. So that gave me the opportunity to grow within this crew. They trained me on every aspect of, what it was to, from the blender to the van to, managing the crews. And I learned it firsthand from these old timers, and I just fell in love with it. And so that gave me the determination to try to move up. I didn't have the college education. I didn't, have the greatest record either. So I felt down on myself because of the past that I did come from, and these guys accepted me for who I was. And I rewrote, my history at that point. I wanted to, move up and become somebody better and just follow that path. So I did. Ended up back here in West Texas in 2003 working for Weatherford Fracturing Technologies. And then where I actually slingshotted my career in the sales was through a supply company here in West Texas. And if you guys were here in 2007, you may have heard the story about the two guys that crossed Texas on a lawnmower. You may have even covered that.
I think I covered it in the news.
So,
yes, because I was at CBS 7 then.
Yeah.
I do remember, yes.
In 2007, me and Bruce Hancock, we rode a lawnmower across the state of Texas. And that was
remember
for
this?
That was for St.
That was him.
Yeah, that was for St. Jude's Ranch for Children. We actually came up with the idea of sitting at Hooters in Odessa because that was when it first opened.
Wait, I want to hear that one more time.
Yeah. So
this is where great ideas happen, right?
It happened at Hooters. It was when they first opened in Odessa. And so they were doing a big promo deal. And George DeMarco was there with his radio station. And they were had a guy in a camper running a can drive. And so one of the sales guys was like, man, that's a great idea. And I said, you're in Odessa, first of all. I said, any guy in this county would love to be in that guy's shoes.
Yeah.
He's got these girls bringing him cans every day, you know. So people would pay to do that. And he goes, well, what do you think would be a better idea? And I said, I don't know. Why don't you do something crazy? Ride a lawnmower across the state of Texas.
Just like that.
And
just pop in your head.
And I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. But George DeMarco asked me, he said, hey, would you do that? And I said, oh, yeah, absolutely, I would do that. Well, lo and behold, 2 weeks later, this guy calls me and says, I've got it set up. And I said, well, I think I'm in trouble because I got to talk to my boss. I didn't expect this to happen.
I didn't know if you're in trouble with your boss or your wife.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where this was going.
So I talked to my boss, and I told him, I said, hey, this guy wants me to ride a lawnmower across the state of Texas. And, of course, you could imagine what his response to that would have been. He thought it was pretty funny, but he did call me back in. He said, hey, look, we're gonna do this for you. You know, if you complete it, we'll pay you. You know, you're 40 hours a week. You won't get any overtime, but we'll pay you. He said, if you don't, whatever days you missed, you're not getting paid for.
No PTO
and
here.
No PTO. Like, you lose out on that. And so I said, okay, well, we'll do this. And we just so happened to do this in February of 2007 when it was ice cold.
Goodness.
And Dallas had one of the worst ice storms in 20 years at that point. And we had to cut right through it. And, yeah, it was quite the journey.
And where did you start and where did you finish?
We started in Wascom,
okay.
and then which is right on the border of Louisiana, East Texas.
Okay.
So, and then we finished right here in Midland at the Oil Museum. And so we had kind of a big shindig there. Several oil companies were out there. We had a bunch of sponsors that were there. Even some schools, elementary schools participated because they were using it as like a fun way to do math, calculate mileage and all that.
Tool.
So, yeah, and we were a part of that. So we did it. We rode the lawnmower across the state of Texas, and it was a story to talk about. Would I ever do it again? Absolutely not.
But did you raise money?
We did, yeah. So I think
around
$85,000 that we raised.
That's great.
In monetary, money was donated, but also there was some company out of Louisiana that donated a bunch of these lawnmowers to the St. Jude's Ranch too. So
very cool.
Yeah, it ended up being a really awesome opportunity.
Yeah.
Is there video of it?
There's a couple YouTube videos on it. Yeah, you can find it. You just Google JD Leach lawnmower and you'll see some of it. Now, a lot of it's been passed down, but yeah, some of it will pop up.
This is great. Well, and I think it's, from what I've learned, and I've just met you, right, today,
sure. Yeah.
What I've learned is that when you decide to do something, you just do it and you let you don't let fear hold you back.
No,
and I think that's a beautiful lesson, whether it's writing a book, becoming an actor, or riding a lawnmower across Texas and raising money. I think it's really cool to just jump in and do things. I think so many times we talk ourselves out of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you almost talk yourself out of any of those things that we've talked about today?
Everything, yeah.
Every single one, right?
Sure, yeah. I think fear drives most of our decisions more than we even think, and I didn't want to live like that. I don't want to live like that. And if there's something that I want to try, then I want to try it. I think I missed out on a ton of opportunities because I was afraid of what other people were going to think of me, or if I was going to fail. And, at some point you just have to, remind yourself you're going to fail, and that's what's going to make you better. And it doesn't matter. And it's okay. Yeah. I've failed more than I've succeeded, and I'll keep failing, and I'm okay with that.
That is such a good reminder to people of all ages, right?
Sure.
Because I don't care where you're at in your life and in your journey. Right. At some point, you have cared what other people think.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
I still do. Yeah.
Right. There's still that. But the more that you really think about it, it's like they are thinking about you less than you think they're thinking about you. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so stop worrying about what others think. And if this is in your heart to do it, just do it. What's the worst that could happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you said, then maybe you fail at something, but then you learn for something. Yeah. So I love, you said favorite quote earlier? This is one of my favorite quotes. Nelson Mandela said, I never lose. I either win or learn. And I never lose. And it's like, yes, it's so true. It's like you either win or you learn from it. And so so there's a good one. But I love that you didn't let the fear hold you back in any of these instances. What advice would you give to someone, even if it was your younger self going back, and what advice would you give to someone that has really helped you in your life journey?
I would say just take risks. Just take a risk and try it, because you're not ever going to succeed unless you try. And the more you hold yourself back, the less chances you're going to have to do that. And the older you get, the harder it becomes to do any of that. So,
especially when you got a mortgage and you got kids and you got food to put on the table and all those things. So,
absolutely.
What's next? What's next for JD Leach? I feel like we're going to hear some more stories. That something you got down the pipeline. What's going on?
Things fall in my lap periodically, and this is definitely not the end. I don't know what's next, but there's always something that's hiding around the corner that I'm just going to jump into. And most of the time it's not a normal thing. So as you can tell, from writing a book to riding a lawnmower and acting. So who knows what's next? I'm open to any opportunity. I try not to be closed off to it. And if something, shows itself to me, then I'll take it.
I love it. Okay. We do something called Question of the Day. We're sitting here in Midland, Texas with JD Leach, hearing his incredible story of growth and learning and not letting your past define you. It's been awesome. And being an author, actor, and oil field, plus a husband and father. So let's see what question you get. Yep.
All right, focused.
Which one did you get?
Focus.
Oh, wait, no. Our last podcast had that one. Okay. Sorry.
All right, I was like, that's another complicated one right there. Let's do something a little different.
Let's try just one more. Sorry, I was supposed to pull it and I didn't.
Yeah. All right, well, here we go. Okay. Proud. Okay.
Proud card. Yes,
good.
I love that. What does it say?
Well, I think you asked me this. If you could give your younger self one sentence of advice.
Well, here, let's put that one back. One more.
That's an easy one. Take risks.
Take risks.
Yeah.
All right, one more. Three's a charm. Got the important card.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
I love it.
What does home mean to you? Oh, that's a really good one. Home to me, so really, I don't have a particular home that I could call home. Home to me is family. And it's wherever my family's at, that is where home's at. Whether it's at our family's ranch for Thanksgiving or just at my house with my wife. That is what feels like home to me. And that's the only thing I can consider home is, family and friends.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right, JD, we do something called favorite things. I want to hear your favorite things. Just a fun way to get to know you more. I feel like we're learning a lot about you today. I throw out something, you say the first thing that comes into your mind, okay?
Oh, gosh.
So, fun fact about you that we would not know or have learned about you today.
Fun fact about me. Oh, gosh. Okay. Fun fact.
I mean, besides riding a lawnmower across Texas.
I love to sing karaoke.
Oh, okay.
I'll do that.
And what's your go-to song?
Usually it's Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my go-to song.
It's
the only one. I grew up listening to that song, grandparents,
Yeah,
so
very
that's the
cool.
only one I know.
Good fun fact. All right, life hack, something that makes your life a little easier.
My wife makes my life
Good answer.
way easier. I think just being optimistic about things. Always trying to find the silver lining and look at, the positive.
That's a good one. I think that is a life hack we could all adopt, right?
Sure.
And it does, and it instantly can work for you.
Sure.
Just try it. So if you're not being optimistic right now about something, just turn that around and go, life hack. Tomorrow I'm going to be optimistic. It's going to be a good day. And I think it does.
Sure. It does.
It goes back to attitude, right?
Attitude's huge. I think what you think about yourself and what your thoughts are, what you're going to get back.
Favorite restaurant in West Texas?
Oh man, gosh, there's quite a few. But if it's West Texas specific, gosh, man, you kind of put me on the spot because a lot of them are kind of chains. I love Longhorn. I love Bubba's.
Two good ones.
Red Oak.
Okay,
I think is
Red Oak Kitchen. That is a good one.
One of my favorites.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one has shouted them out recently.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get in a rhythm, right? Like where everyone's going Taco Divino or Venetia's, but no one. And Red Oak it's like a hidden little gem.
It is. Well, with me being in sales, everybody goes to the same places.
Yeah.
It's always your big chains, right? And Red Oak's one that you don't see in other places, and I like that. It's kind of a hidden spot.
I love it. Favorite hype song? You're walking into an event. What song is playing in your mind that's just going to get you ready to make that sale or go on that audition and get that role?
Yeah, favorite hype song. Golly. I like Bittersweet Symphony.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a really good one.
That's the first one that comes to my mind.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, favorite movie?
So my all-time favorite movie is Young Guns.
Okay, that's a good one.
Emilio Estevez and him. I grew up watching that, and
Old
I just
school.
fell in love
I love
with
that.
it. Yeah, Young Guns too.
Yeah,
So,
very good. Favorite book?
Favorite book?
Book or podcast?
Yeah, so Krista Escamilla Show.
Thank you. Yeah,
but I wasn't a big reader, but I will say you mentioned Nelson Mandela earlier, and so there's a book out about him and a lot of his quotes that are in that book that is just I think that was something that I had for a long time and used to read, and that was one of the books, I think the only book that I probably finished.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So. A lot of good knowledge in that book.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. Favorite? Let me look over my list. Favorite memory in West Texas.
Favorite memory in West Texas. Well, so I have quite a few of those too. It would have to be, honestly, with there was a tournament that we had when we lived here with my kids, and my son was involved in select baseball, and they were a really good competing team, and we ended up beating the number 1 seed, and it was Lubbock. And so that was just an awesome time because we were super pumped about it, and we all kind of got together and barbecued after that. But
how fun!
I remember that, and then there's trips to Balmorhea that were pretty incredible too. So
another hidden gem.
Yeah.
Get down to the mountains when you can.
Sure.
In West Texas, love that.
Well, JD, coming into today's podcast, I know you probably didn't have, you were just
Yeah.
like, what am I doing here?
Walking off the street and say, hey, I'm here.
But is there anything that we didn't get to talk about today that you were hoping we would, or that you were like, you know what, I just really think this is important for my story? Because I would love to just, talk about anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, no, I think we covered a pretty good amount of, what it is that, who I am, what it makes, what makes me tick, and the things that I've got going on, where I came from, and, just the don't give up thing, keep going, and, don't close out any opportunities and keep an open mind. So I think we covered a lot, and it's been an honor being here and speaking with you. So
Well,
I
thank
really
you.
appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I've loved getting to know you better and
Yeah.
hearing your story, and I think that you've
Sure.
got so many just great words of advice for young people and older people like myself.
Sure.
But I think really that optimism and just
Right.
the
don't let your past define your future. That is
Right.
such an important message that I hope that people can read your book. You can
Sure.
find this on Amazon. It's Behind Closed Eyes. Watch Stan the Man.
Yeah, Stan the Man.
And then what was and then of course Lioness. Go to
Sure.
season 2, episode 5, right?
That's it, yeah.
You will see JD. But
Yeah.
really, we just wish you the best as you
Thank
move
you.
forward. Are you still in oil field? Are you
I am,
still-
yeah.
Okay, and so who do you work for?
I work for Intercorp right
Okay.
now, doing business development and sales for Intercorp. I've been there. This is actually my 5 years. Should be having a 5-year little get together here pretty soon. So yeah, I've
Great.
been with Intercorp.
We'll
Yeah.
give them a little shout out. So
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing and the hard work you're doing. And thanks for really shining a light on West Texas and on
Yeah,
your story.
absolutely.
Because I feel like we can all, that's what I love about sharing stories. We can all learn from each other.
Right.
And everyone has a story. And so now if you see him, be like, hey, lawnmower guy.
Yeah, that's
But I think that's, I mean, just what a cool testament to what you're doing. And so thanks for sharing today. If you have any other questions, of course, are you on social media?
I am. Yeah, you can find me Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on all of them. So.
There you go. Reach out to JD. But thank you for doing what you're doing and being here today. And share this with someone that you think could learn from the story as well. We want to keep the growing going. Hey, I like that. Keep the growing going.
Yeah, it rhymes.
It does.
Perfect
It rhymes.
time.
I like rhymes. I don't
Yeah.
know why. Maybe I've read a lot of
the
Cat in the
growing
Hat. But keep the growing going. And thank you for your time today. Of course, our sponsors. We cannot thank them enough. So a big shout out again to the Preserve at Midland, Omni Midland Hotel, Rig ID Workwear, Thin FR, Midland Cap Company, and joincapclub.com, and the Laughlin Hotel. But support local. Remember, we are all in this together, and we can all learn from each other. So let's just support each other in all our endeavors to help us all live our best lives. And don't forget, first of all, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
But don't forget these mottos: dream big, believe, and never give up. You make it a great day, and we'll see you next time.